So just like me, MSNBC had an irritating organ removed from its lower midsection. Yes, Keith Olbermann is gone. Let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty that is Keith. Yeah. Moved me, I guess. So people are obviously wondering who's going to replace Olby. My suggestion, the great Brian Dunkelman. Yeah, he is an American treasure. You remember him? No, you don't? Okay.
No.
Now, there's much conjecture behind Keith's exit. Some say it's ideology, that Comcast wanted to rid MSNBC of its left-leaning furniture. If that's true, then they only lost a tattered end of a sectional. But others say it's cash, since Olby is the kind of guy whose salary will never be enough if there's someone else making more. It's the old, I only walk taller if my neighbor is limping sort of thing. Anyway, it's odd for Progressive to be so enamored by competition and cash. I suppose as long as your motives are Chomsky approved, you're an exception to your own rules. Things like basic politeness don't apply as long as you only care about my money. I call this the Sean Penn rule, named after my buddy Sean, who went to Penn State. Such a jerk. Call me. Anyway, it's a glorious hypocrisy that a man so disgusted by America's me-first attitude turns out to be nothing more than a consumption addict, gobbling dollars like the ruthless corporate machine he so publicly loathes. Never mind crud like global warming or social justice. What really moves Olby forward is the Benjamins. Can't say I blame him. I love Mr. Bratt. But you know that if you were in his place doing what he does, Olby would call you the worst person in the world. And then he'd be mad that he's making only a few million for it. And if you disagree with me, you're slightly worse than Hitler. You. Ms. David, how will you survive without Olby? How?
I knew this was coming. I get to be the big fan. No. I just have to say that the New York Times says it's Comcast. The Washington Post says it was that he was fired. The Daily Beast says he couldn't have the independence he wanted. Gutfeld and TMZ say it's about the money.
Yes. I think.
Who am I supposed to believe here?
No, he said it was about Benjamin Bratt.
Yes.
That's true. That's true.
It's about Benjamin Bratt
love.
and Benjamin McKenzie, a little-known actor.
Remember him?
Yes. He was in. Who cares? Bill,
Don't divert him. You cannot.
Yes.
He's so easily diverted.
I know.
Look over here, Greg. Over here. No, sorry.
Oh, that was a giant hand I just saw. Hey, Bill, what is Olby going to do next?
What isn't he going to do next? I answer that because I don't know, Greg. The only insiders I've told me is that it is a lot less. Comcast was a red herring. And then they were looking for excuses a long time to fire him because apparently, like, his ratings were never that much better than Maddow or any of the other people on his channels. They weren't that significantly better. And every once in a while, Maddow would beat him, as would any programming on Snail TV, which, as you know, is 24-hour shelled mollusks station and shelled mollusks related issues. And they would often beat him.
Yes.
Wait, Greg was dazed out still thinking of Benjamin McKenzie.
I started thinking
One time
about,
a guest
where
on
were
Snail
you right
TV.
then?
I didn't know where I was.
He was gone.
I didn't know what
We got you back.
Terry,
Sir.
are you sad?
I'm bummed out. I think this is, though, MSNBC's attempt to deal with the call for civility. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is about money. I think you're right. I actually was thinking maybe what this is, you know, like you said, Keith Olbermann, God bless him, his Shakespearean orator
Yes,
heart.
sir.
Yes, sir. I think, you know, MSNBC is probably looking long-term saying, okay, he's got this many ratings, and it's probably going to always be that. And I think in some way they're probably looking for, they would like a cut of O'Reilly's. And to do that, they've got to change it. Yeah. I don't know who they're going to put on. I don't know, maybe, what was that guy, Benjamin? What was his name?
Benjamin Bratt.
Benjamin Bratt.
He's a
no, there's
delight.
another one too. So I think that's what it is about money.
Jed, I got 30 seconds, right?
I think when you think of MSNBC, you often think of Keith Olbermann. That
Yeah.
he's like the face of the network. So I think if they are going to make a switch, he would be the person to go. And Larry O'Donnell's going to replace him temporarily. But I suggest the Tea Party Hour. I don't know if they're going to be willing to take that.
Regalog, Keith Olbermann leaves MSNBC. You know, if people keep talking about Olbermann, he's going to get a big head.
Oh, you.
Too late. Anna, you said the New York Times says Olbermann's leaving was about Comcast. I don't think that's true. Bill Carter and Brian Stelter's article today was actually titled "Olbermann Split Came After Years of Tension."
I'm sorry. They said that the fans.
Some people were
said
saying, right.
that it's because of Comcast.
Okay, yeah. All right, good enough. By the way, I got to think putting Ed Schultz in primetime has to be a temporary thing, right?
To run shows.
Yeah.
He's like Olbermann without the charm and humility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said, Andy.
I don't know what he reminds me of, but he reminds me of something irritating, like a guy that when you're renting an apartment and he's the guy downstairs who keeps banging the ceiling with a broom. That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of that guy, and then you go downstairs and he kind of scares you.
Pajama bottoms and a stained wife beater,
Yeah,
no
and
matter what time of the day.
And he's always drinking a big, tall glass of milk.
Yeah.
It smells.
Yeah, you don't know if it's cow milk. That's Ed Schultz.
Breast.